These 8 terrifying giant crocodile encounters will give you nightmares. Don't be fooled by their dormant appearance. Crocodiles are expert hunters that will lunge at any unsuspecting prey. One fatal mistake and the people in these videos would have been goners. Number 8. Daredevil photographer nearly ends up as dinner. This is Antonio, an up-and-coming photographer. Antonio was hoping to take the perfect shot of an American crocodile under the Crocodile Bridge in Rio Tarcoles, Costa Rica. He had gone with a bunch of his friends to the water's edge and knelt just a few feet to the water. His friends started throwing bite-sized pieces of meat to draw the crocodiles to him. Of course, a handful of crocodiles came circling in at the chance of a free meal. Antonio could now take clear shots of the crocodiles. But as the saying goes, it's not the crocodile you see that can take you, it's the one hidden in plain sight that you should be worried about. Unknown to Antonio, one of the crocodiles was approaching the bank completely submerged. While Antonio focused his attention on the crocodile he could see, the submerged crocodile slowly surfaces and prepares to lunge at Antonio. His friends who were at the top of the hill noticed the crafty crocodile. They shout at Antonio to get the heck out of the way, but he doesn't listen. In a last-ditch effort to save Antonio, one of his friends throws a piece of meat right where the crocodile is. The splash gets Antonio's attention, and to his horror, the crocodile lunges at him with breakneck speed. Thankfully, the splash had given away the croc's position early enough for Antonio to get out of the way and miss the croc's jaws by a whisker. Number 7. Juvenile Saltie attacks swimmer. There's a saying that if you want to take a trip to Australia, just pack your bags, go to the airport, book a flight, and just when you're about to board the plane, think about what you're actually doing, and then go back home. Australia is home to the saltwater crocodile, the largest and most terrifying species of croc there is. Just to put this in perspective, a male alligator in the Florida Everglades can grow from anywhere between 10 to 15 feet and weigh 1,000 pounds, while an Australian saltwater male can average 20 feet and weigh 2,000 pounds. So, when this young teen boy decided to go rope swinging in Northern Australia, he accidentally films one of the most terrifying and jaw-dropping encounters with a crocodile. The video starts from atop a tree, with the boy holding the swing rope. He then throws himself into the river in Northern Australia, the region with the highest concentration of saltwater crocodiles in the world. Before he even settles in for a swim, the juvenile Saltie is already on him and attacks. Thankfully for the teen, this saltwater croc was really small, and he manages to scare it away before frantically running through the water and climbing up a tree. Lesson learned: never go swimming in any body of water in Northern Australia. Number 6. Croc encounter with Ethiopian crocodile. The River Omo is known for its massive crocs. In fact, it's believed to be home to the biggest Nile crocodiles in Africa. The male crocodiles in this river can grow up to 20 feet and weigh 1 ton, just like their cousins, the Salties of Northern Australia and the Philippines. So, when this tourist group was having a boat ride along the river, they came across a monster. What's even scarier about this video is not how fast the croc gets back into the water, but the fact they can remain so concealed in the bushes. And the fact that local communities use this river as their source of water puts them at risk of being taken by a hungry crocodile anytime. In fact, there have been several cases of fatal crocodile attacks along River Omo. Number 5. Nile crocodile attacks woman trying to take a selfie with it. This has got to be one of the most shocking clips of social media dumbness, and trust us, we've seen a lot of them. So, a community near a river decides to attract a hungry crocodile out of the water by enticing it with a live chicken. The crocodile emerges from the water and slowly starts to make its way toward them. It finally settles down a few meters from the bank, and that's when the village people see this as an opportunity to take a selfie with the croc. One guy sits down on it as others begin posing with it. But one woman makes the fatal mistake of coming right in the line of sight of the croc. The somewhat statuesque croc suddenly lunges at the woman's face, and you can hear her shrieking in pain. It might not have made a meal out of her, but that bite must have hurt like hell. Which goes to show that when you play dumb games, you win dumb prizes. Number 4. Couple come across giant crocodile in paradise. This beach in Port Douglas, Queensland looks like heaven on earth. But beneath the allure and beauty lies the terrifying fact that giant crocodiles swim these crystal clear waters. In fact, if you fail to pay attention to all the signs, you might just be fooled into thinking you're in a safe position. This couple almost found out the hard way when they were just about to get into the water, and then suddenly they see a crocodile basking on the other side of the river. The crocodile looks intimidating in size and large enough to drag a person to drown them. Thankfully, they wisely stay away from the water's edge. But there have been several fatal stories of people who unknowingly went swimming in such beautiful places, only to end up in the evening news as victims of a fatal crocodile attack. Number 3. Man slips and almost gets bitten by a crocodile. Crocodiles can grow into intimidating monsters. I mean, just look at the size of this behemoth as he comes crawling out of the river at the fresh smell of chicken. It honestly looks like a scene right out of a Jurassic Park movie. Oh, and these crocodiles look like they've been eating some pretty large game too. As the humongous croc gets out of the water eyeing that small piece of chicken, you can't help but wonder why it doesn't attack the tour guide altogether. But that was almost the case, as the mud behind the guide suddenly turns into quicksand, swallowing his feet. He scrambles quickly to get back up just in time to avoid the massive croc from biting him. Heck, being a crocodile tour guide is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Clearly, one wrong footing and you're history. Number 2. Nile crocodile attacks boat ferociously. A relaxing canoe ride on the Okavango Delta nearly turned tragic when this crew of tourists came across a territorial male Nile crocodile ferociously guarding its stretch of the waters. Once the crocodile spots them, it makes an unexpected U-turn, and like a speedboat on steroids, torpedoes toward them. It's only when you see the ferocity with which this male crocodile crashes on the side of the boat can you appreciate the immense power of these creatures. The canoe nearly topples over. And if it wasn't for the guide hitting the crocodile hard with a paddle and spooking it off, the crocodile might have succeeded in toppling the canoe over and turning the tourists into sitting ducks out on the water. Number 1. Crocodile hiding sneakily in a billabong. Time and again, you've heard haunting stories of Australian swimmers suddenly being taken by massive saltwater crocodiles, never to be seen again. And with good reason too. You see, crocodiles are ambush predators, and they've maintained this hunting strategy for the last 200 million years. They may not look like it, but crocodiles are actually very intelligent creatures that exercise a surprising amount of patience. In fact, some crocodiles have even been filmed waiting patiently next to camps for hours on end, timing the perfect opportunity to grab an unsuspecting camper and drag them to their demise. Thankfully, the campers here are already aware that there's a saltie lurking in the billabong, so they decide to give a very terrifying lesson as to why you should never go swimming in an Australian body of water. They use a buffalo's head as bait and decide to throw it into the water. To their delight, a massive saltie comes lunging out of the water ferociously, jaws wide open, ready to grab onto the unfortunate victim who has decided to go for a swim. Yikes! All in all, when it comes to crocodiles, you can never be too careful. Always obey any signs that warn you to stay away from the water's edge because crocodiles can be extremely dangerous. You should also do your best to always have an experienced guide when exploring crocodile country. Have you ever had a scary crocodile encounter?